Okay, guys, so this is actually my part two of Unmaterializing. So, what I realize about that loss is I went from doing like my 12 to 14 hours running the business, and obviously you're running the household, you have responsibilities and such. And I'm realizing today a lot of people are purposely doing that. They're making changes. I actually met someone that was a mail carrier. He and his wife were mail carriers, and they decided when they retired that they were purposely going to live in Thailand for a fraction of what it costs to live here, and how people are trending towards that. So, how freedom looks like for one person, let's say a person spends years and years and years strapped to mortgage payments, they're stressing out, they're pulling their hair out, right? For the sake of being materialized. So they've got the evidence, the cars in the driveway, maybe they've got the toys, they've got the sea-doos, the whatever, but maybe there really isn't peace in the home. And now that I reflect on that experience, though I had lost those things, I gained in other ways. I went to Oregon, I went to Washington, I traveled to Hawaii, I traveled to New Orleans, I traveled to Arizona. I even lived for 6 months. I lived over in Savannah, Georgia. So I was actually enriched through experiences, because had there not been the collapse and had I not lost the home, I may have still been working those 12, 14-hour days, and I would have not had those experiences with my family during that time. So sometimes what you're going through may seem like, hey, this is unfair. What's happening to me? Sometimes it's happening for you. And let's say people that are purposely, selling their homes to be in an RV and travel across the country, or maybe they're a physician and they say, hey, I'm working all these hours. I've been in this career. This career is really sucking the life out of me, so to speak. Sometimes people are working those 18-hour days. I know when I had my cleaning business, one of my customers was actually a dermatologist for Kaiser. And guess what, guys? He was never home. He was doing 19-hour days. He was in his 60s, and yes, that's what he was choosing. He had the 3,600 square foot house that he was never at, right? So sometimes we have to define what is rich, what was, and as he's retiring, right? He decided to retire. And what do you have to show for it? What do you have to show for it at the end of the day? The kids are grown, the house is empty. You can maybe, Airbnb out your rooms or rent out your rooms or what have you. But you guys get what I'm saying. A lot of people are redefining what the American dream is, because the American dream for many, many people ends up being the American nightmare. It's an expensive mortgage. It's expensive utilities. It's expensive property taxes. Maybe it's constant arguments and things like that. But why not choose freedom? Yes, we have to house our kids and things like that, but there's ways to do it, or you can create incomes in a way that doesn't make you where you're absent from your family. You can be present with your family. You can make those dynamic incomes, but still have the same experiences. Had I known about this, had this company existed when my kids were younger, that would have made a huge difference. I could have been more hands-on, because I know that my son has mentioned to me through conversations, he's like, well, you know what, Mom, you